Well, hello and happy spring to everyone. It's May 6th, and in mid-Missouri, this would be normally a great time to be grafting. And I'm inside. And so we might say, why are you inside? Why aren't you outside grafting? Because it's 55 degrees out there. That's why. And it's going to be 40 degrees tonight. So I'm going to wait a few days before I start. But I did think this would be a nice warm place to sort of do a let's get ready for grafting video, okay? Because there's a bunch of stuff you need to do before you walk out there to graft your first tree. And I'm going to go through some of those. Just as a reminder, if you haven't done these things, you need to do them now before it's grafting time. So one of the first things you need to do, depending on how much grafting you're going to do. So I, over the last 10 years, have spent weeks grafting. And so I've grafted hundreds of trees every year. You guys may be doing 1 to 4. Well, I'm going to talk to those of you who are going to do a lot of grafting, maybe in different locations. And one of the things you want to do ahead of time is to mark your tree. Find the tree that you're going to graft. Use whatever system you want, some kind of flagging system or color system that you know when it's time to graft, that you know where to go, and it's the fastest, most economical way to get your grafting done. Because when you find a perfect day for grafting, you want to get as many done as you can. So hopefully you've already marked your trees, but if you haven't, it'll save you some time if you do it early. Next thing you got to do is make sure your equipment's ready. Now I'm going to make this real simple. Whatever cutters you're going to use, whether it's a handsaw that you're going to cut the seedling off, or snippers like this, or a big lopper, make sure that you've sharpened them. And this is a really important piece that enough people maybe don't know about, and that is you need to dip them in whatever kind of fluid you want, but you want to try to make sure that you have prepared it for cutting, and make sure that you've used either Clorox or a different kind of diluted system to get your equipment ready to be used on plants that you don't want to be spreading any disease on, okay? So you have that done ahead of time, and you ought to do it every day, if not every couple days when you get going. And then if you're going to graft, that means you need really good grafting knives. And I don't know if, Kim, you can see this, but I have a variety of knives that I use. And this time of year, before you get ready to graft, you need to sharpen them. Again, some people do it multiple times. I use basically a kitchen knife sharpener. One of the guys I work with uses a stone. Whatever you're most comfortable with and whatever you're best at, but get your knives sharpened. And speaking of knives, all these work really well for me. But just a reminder for any of you who are doing bark grafting, this particular, it's not the knife itself, but it's this bark separator right here on the end, which is much thicker and stronger and shorter. And if you're going to do any bark grafting, this thing comes in really handy. So if you don't have one of these and you're doing bark grafting, I would recommend you get one. So you've got your equipment sharpened up and clean and ready to go, and now you're going to be grafting. Well, the basics in grafting is you need some grafting tape. They're all different kinds. Some of them are clear, some of them are wide, some of them are thinner. This technically is not grafting tape, it's plant tape. I personally like this one really well. It's stretchy, it's about the right width. All these will work. So you got to have those, and you got to have enough. Again, think about how much grafting you're going to do. Make sure you've ordered enough and got it, because it happens in the spring. Sometimes this stuff is hard to get a hold of. Some other kind of things you might need when you're doing a lot of grafting. I find one of these carpenter's aprons coming in real handy. I keep my tape in there, my knives in there, other things. Again, if you're doing bark grafting, which I like to do, you're also going to need aluminum foil. So make sure you have a roll of aluminum foil, then you cut them up into pieces like this. That you can probably get out of your kitchen, no problem. You don't always have to have grafting wax, but I like to use it. There are all kinds of different forms. but wax comes in handy to make you feel much more comfortable and confident that you made a good graft. Now, the next thing you're going to do is, as you get ready to graft, is make sure you have your scions. And obviously these should have been in a bag in the refrigerator, and in some way or form you have kept it cold, and in some way or form you have it labeled so you know which variety you're using when you do your graft. I oftentimes, when I do the graft that day, I just put some sort of a flagging on it, and I write on the variety on there. Then I come back later in the year after I've cleaned it up and I know it's a very successful graft. Then I put the name of the variety in a more permanent way on. Some people put the more permanent way on right away. If you do, you need some sort of tagging system. These are my two favorite. This is actually made for cattle, for ear tags. It works very well for me. And this is a really cool aluminum tag system where you don't write in it. You actually just use a pencil or pen and write the name in there, but it indents the aluminum, and it stays very well and handles weather very well. Both of them will work, whatever works best for you. And then the other thing is, again, this doesn't really, it's not necessary for those of you who are just doing a few grafts, but if you're doing a lot of grafts, you need to keep a book, some sort of system by which you're taking down what you've done, where it is, what dates you did it. So a notebook, a really simple notebook, works really well for me. And then I can come back and delete those that didn't take. I can check up on them. I know where their locations are. So some way to basically capture what you've done so that 3 weeks from now, a month from now, 3 months from now, you don't have to remember them. At my age, it's almost, I have to write things down to make sure I know where they are. And then for those of you who are way younger than me, there's probably way more high-tech ways to do the note-taking and the location and all the records. So using computers and smartphones, you can probably do the same thing. I just happen to like the 3-ring binder. Well, that's most of the things you need to do to prepare. I'm going to get started this weekend. For all of you who are going to graft this year, happy grafting. Persimmon Pop, see you next time.